Welcome, everybody, to this week's show. I am your host, Russell Gibson, and this is the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card podcast. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate it. Just a quick update of how this week's show is going to work. I'm currently on leave at the moment, so it's just going to be a quick 15 or 20-minute show this week. We're just going to touch on a few key points of what's been happening in the hobby. And then next week, we'll be back to normal programming. And we've got Tyson Beck coming up, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait for that to happen. Just first thing for this week's show, if I can ask a favor, is that you would please go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/you can't comp this. Give us a follow there. We're up to 79 followers. We just need 21 more. And then we can go live onto that platform instead of my personal Facebook platform. So that will be hugely appreciated. If you are on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and turn on that notification button too. You can get all of our content. Alrighty, for this week's show, we're going to talk about the blind boxing of everything. And that is the new manifesto or the new document that's been written by Josh Luber. If you remember back to our earliest episodes, in fact, our first episode of the You Can't Comp This show, we went through the entire manifesto and we went through it chapter by chapter. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, but I think we can skim through it a little bit, come back to it in a couple of weeks, and we can go through it all again. We've got a fantastic Cooper Flagg sale. We got a Dwyane Wade sale. And the main thing I want to talk about and break down with you guys today is the new product that's coming out from Panini is the Donruss unlicensed and also the Signature Series, which has just dropped. Alrighty, so let's get straight into this. Donruss unlicensed. Here we go. Now, the first thing that we actually need to point out here, it is Donruss player license. Panini is trying to go for a rebrand, and essentially, it's like rebranding a Ponzi scheme, isn't it? In some ways, it is what it is. You can't get away from the fact that it's an unlicensed product. But I think what they're really trying to, hit home here, or for lack of a better word, emphasize here is that this is actually player license cards. So obviously they've got into agreements with very particular athletes, and they'll be bringing them into these products. So I think the other thing that I would take away from this, obviously we've got some names in here, which we're going to go through all of the names, but it seems to me that Panini is not going away. Yes, they've lost the official licenses, but they're going to be clawing and trying to get themselves back into this in some particular way. So look, I'm really just going to hold my breath on this. I don't personally think that player license, unlicensed products have a lot of value, and I think there's so much evidence out for this in all these different platforms too. Like we've seen it with Leaf, we've seen it with Tops even. Like the Tops unlicensed stuff really wasn't that well received. So let's see how it goes. Here's the first card here. We've got the VJ Edgecombe Pen Pals. I don't mind this as long as it's on card autograph. I think the design is frankly a little bit boring. But moving on to this one here, this is the signatures card. I think that says lit signatures. I'm sorry about that. I can't really read it. Again, I'm going to go for the same thing here. I don't mind the design. In fact, I prefer this much more to the VJ Edgecombe card that we just looked at here. As long as this is on-card autograph and not sticker autographs, I think that's totally fine. What I would really like to see from Panini as we're moving into this next era is just quality. Don't worry about pumping out 16 megatons of this product. Just get all of your quality right. So, for example, here, License to Drive, we've got the Trey Johnson card. I love this kid. I love Trey Johnson. I think he's going to be someone that's very collectible. I think that he's going to be a bit of a funny one where if he's not in the official products and then you're forced to then chase high-end unlicensed cards, I think It's just really, really tricky for someone who I think is worth collecting, right? License to Drive, clearly it's a sticker autograph. Panini, fix this. We don't need this. All right, moving on to the Donruss, actual the design of the card. Look, we know what Donruss is. It's an entry-level product. It's something that's not particularly that crazy, whatever, whatever. I think the design is okay. It's nothing that I'm gonna be sitting here and waxing lyrical over. I don't mind the Elite Series design on that, particularly in the black. I think that looks really cool. What I do wanna have a look at it here, though, is the SSPs. Here we go. Here comes the Downtown. I've heard a lot of people talking about these, and I've also heard the chatter around it saying actually people would be quite happy to get it because for a Downtown card, you're not particularly looking at the logo of the card. You're not particularly looking at whether it is licensed or not. I don't agree with that at all. I think that if you are spending huge amounts of money on these downtowns, I would be very, very, very careful around that. I would personally, I would wait to see how the comps play out on this, or at least a 3 to 4 month payment cycle so that you can actually see, where everything is going because yeah, you just don't wanna be caught holding it back, spending 500, $1,000 on an insert that's then later on worth $10. Nobody wants to have that experience in the hobby. Now, this next one here, the Slammy, this is super, super cool. Very experimental artwork. Obviously, in the very true Panini style, they're taking risks onto cards. I've got no problems with this at all. Do I think these are gonna be worth anything? Absolutely not. This is a $1 or a $2 card at the absolute okay, hang on, let me rephrase this. $5 to $10 absolute max on the high-end ones, maybe $1 or $2 on the entry-level inserts in for Slammy. Do I think they're a cool set to collect? Absolutely, yeah, I think that's awesome, particularly if your PC, isn't it? So if Cade Cunningham's your boy, go out and pick one of those up for super cheap, put it onto your desk, have a look at it. That's gonna be really cool. Right, here comes the next thing here, and this is what we actually do need to talk about and break down. I did a short today, and I ended with the celebrities, but actually I wanna start out with this because if Panini are gonna be staying in the game, if they're gonna be trying to keep up with the hobby, they're gonna be trying to keep up with fanatics. I actually think this is where they need to go. They need to put entertainers into it. They need to make it pop culture relevant. We've got Ludacris, we've got Spike Lee, we've got Dick Vitale. That for me is like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 because it brings in stuff that you're not gonna get in other places. Also, it brings in people who might not be into NBA in particular, and I think that's really important. If you're trying to expand the hobby, you're trying to, build it up a bit more. Obviously, it's too late now for Panini. Their time to build up the hobby is gone, but I still like the play that they're making here a lot. I think this is absolutely fantastic, and so yeah, I've got no problems with this at all. Nothing. That's fantastic. Right. Let's move into the other autographs. Here we go. Coaches are going to be included into this. Personally, I think Panini dropped the ball on this one. We've always needed coaches' autographs. Why haven't they been doing this? They did coaches' cards for a while. I think it was in either 17, 18 Prism or 16, 17 Prism. You could get coaches' autographs in it. Steve Kerr was in there. So now we're getting Jim Calhoun, Dan Hurley, Todd Golden, Jim Boheim, Bobby Knight. Look, again, this is good. I think this is thinking outside of the box, but we need the big names. So who are the top NBA coaches at the moment? This is who we need to see. We need to see Steve Kerr. We need to see Greg Popovich. Here we go. We need to get Phil Jackson. That is an absolute get. Phil Jackson would be insane. Eric Spoelstra, that's the other one who I would love to see. Chuck Daly, RIP, he's passed away now. Tyrone Lue, I think is a good one, but in saying that, I don't know this off the top of my head, but I reckon you'll be able to get Tyrone Lue autographs. Oh, here we go. Larry Brown. Larry Brown should be in this set absolutely here. Casey Jones, Don Nelson, that would be cool. Don Nelson, that's a really good one. Pat Riley autographs Doc Rivers. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Jerry Sloan, I think, I'm not sure if he's passed or not. That to me is where we need to be at. Like those ultra high end guys that you could then put that away into your veterans box And again, that is something I would absolutely collect. On-card autograph, I'm thinking in the vein here of like timeless moments cards where you've got that insane piece of artwork, and maybe Panini here, they hold their powder for something better to come along, a better product to come along before they put these high-end coaches into it. But absolutely, that's something I would be frothing over. I'll definitely want that. For all you rookie prospectors, VJ Edgecombe, Jeremiah Fears, Trey Johnson, Carter Bryant, Hugo Gonzalez, Derek Queen, he's playing fantastic this year. Cedric Howard, I love him. Just don't know how much hobby value he's going to get. And obviously Hansen Yang. If you're getting Portland in a random or a PYT, hang on to your Hansen Yangs, send them overseas to auction at the bigger auction houses, send them over to China to sell. There's always hobby value going on for Chinese players. So, yeah, that's a really good get for Panini. I think that's going to move some product for them. Other autographs that we can also talk about here: Cade Cunningham, Giannis, Ja Morant. And I think this is the big one, moving forward. The name on this list for me that's missing is Luka Doncic. I thought that he was Panini exclusive, so I'm going to need to do a bit more research into this and find out why Luka isn't in this product. Wonder if he's gone across. I wonder if Tops have given him an absolute bag, because if you're looking at the future of the NBA, you need Wemby, you need Luka Doncic, you've got LeBron James. Like, imagine if you got Jordan, something like that. If you had that crew, that, like, realistically, like, prospects are good, but that's who you need, isn't it? You just need all those really big names. Chris Webber, that's cool, but no one's going to really care about that. Dr. J, Kevin Garnett, that's good for KG fans, for Wolves fans, for Celtics championship chasers, that's really good. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, they'll sign anything, they'll sign with anyone. Magic Johnson autos are really cool, but look, let's be honest, he's signed with Leaf, he's signed with Panini. There's a heap of autographs out there for Magic. Just be very selective of what you get from Magic Johnson cards, patch autographs, low numbered cards, that type of thing. Yeah, there's a heap of them out there. Avoid sticker autographs with Magic. Steve Nash. All right, now this next one here, do I even talk about this? I don't think so, but they've got some prospects in here. Darius, Acliff, Yaxel, Jaden, Quentis. Who are these people? Kareem Lopez. That's absolutely just fluff. And look, you're getting 3 autographs out of these boxes. The pricing on this is low. I've got a funny feeling that it's going to sell for like 200, 300 Aussie dollars per box, something around that. So this actually might break really nicely with 3 autographs, 90 odd cards in it. G'day Levi, g'day Jared, g'day Adam Crosley. What's up, lads? Look, let's see how this goes. I don't think you should be putting heaps and heaps of cash into this. Signature Series is the other product that Panini has just released. 5 cards per box. So this is the opposite of what we've got with Donruss. Donruss is very heavy in base. This is just 5 cards per box, 1 slabbed autograph, numbered to 49 or less, 1 base cards, 2 base parallels, and 1 insert. So you're just getting 1 autograph per box on this. I want to see what the price is on this before I talk about this too much more. If this is cheap, if this is about the same price that Donruss is selling for, I've got absolutely no problems with this at all. If they pump this up and try and cash in on this and try and get every cent out of the remaining loyalists to Panini, for me, I personally think that sucks and they shouldn't do that to people. But at the same time, too, I'm going to say we just have to really wait and see on this one. Do these cards look pretty good? They look okay, but if this is the biggest hit you can get out of it, frankly, I think the design is boring. This is the Signature Series RPA. Again, obviously, we're going with the headliner, which is VJ Edgecombe. I've seen so many better patch autographs than this. I'm not particularly going to be writing home about this at all. Signature Pride, yeah, fantastic. Then you can go through all the different flags, all the different countries that people represent. I think that's great if you're very patriotic and you want to collect your American cards. If you're an Aussie collector, you want to get your Aussies. Again, awesome, insane. That's really cool. But again, is the design on that fantastic? Nothing is really blowing my hair back on this. For me, I'm going to be like, wanting to spend 500 or $1,000 per box on this. Absolutely not. I'm looking at this here. This is a college card, so they're going to be mixing in a bit of We called it Prism Draft back in the day into NBA product. I think that's really risky. I think you have to keep it NBA, but that would also explain as to why they've got the prospect autographs in it and also the college coaches. Okay. So that's a little bit misleading, isn't it, in a way where you're mixing in college product with pro product and also selling it as just a player licensed product. Oh man, we're being panini before we even open the boxes, haven't we? All right, so I'm going to put that out to the listeners. How do you feel about this? If I'm correct about this and I'm working this out on the fly, if this is a college product mixed in with pro product, does it diminish the value of the product? Do you want to buy this more because then you're getting in at the very ground level of prospects and you can put these cards away for the long term, watching them? Is that something that you want to do? I think that's a really interesting one too. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to do a post about this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, this one here, I don't mind this. This is the cover athletes card here. This is a Panini Noir type design where it's very black. It's got the big gold writing onto it, on card autograph. Please, Panini, do not sticker this. I think you can get away with that. People will try and collect that. All right, we had Iverson as the cover athlete. We got Derrick Rose coming on this here. Now, this to me, this is like we've had these cards. I think it was out of a product called Threads, where it was a picture of a jersey, and then I don't remember if these are autographed or not, but this to me is like a throwback to that, where we've got here picture of a Derrick Rose jersey. For me, do you know what would be way better? Actually, it was a patch in the frame of a jersey, and then it had the autograph on the top of that. That would be insane. That would be collectible for somebody that can't afford to go out and buy and also house a huge frame of a jersey. And then you can put this into a card. That's the other reason why I like cards. You can have a whole bunch of autographs and memorabilia, and you can put it away really easily. Like that to me, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Right? Alrighty, the next one we've got here. This just looks like an insert. I don't even want to talk about this stuff, frankly. Iverson throwback on this, the signature series. All right, what have we got here? Again, Edgecombe Fears, Trey Johnson. I think that's just going to be all the same rookies again. Damian Lillard is in this product. James Harden, Dirk Nowitzki, Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, Derrick Rose, and Steve Nash. Personally, Derrick Rose should be at the top there. I think he is super collectible. People want Derrick Rose stuff. That stuff always sells really well. All right, top prospects. Darius Acuff. Oh man, Nicholas Avadilis, Braylon Mullins. Yeah, these to me are two deep cuts. I'm not into this stuff pretty much at all. Here we go. Collect the rainbow of your favorite superstar, legend, next in line prospect, or rookie. Okay, so this is absolutely a mix of product here. One insert per box, perpetual talents, class masters, signature headlines, also for the popular Kaboom insert. All right, if you want to be chasing Kabooms, this is the product you're going to have to hit. Gold numbered to 10 and black numbered to 1. Panini know what's up here. We have needed a black Kaboom for such a long time. I've never understood why they went with the green. I'm gonna wait to here we go. The next frame right here. Kaboom. All right, if that's in black, that's collectible to me. Again, let's just see and hold our powder on this to see what this is going to be worth into the long term. We're going to go to our first advertisement, guys. And we're going to say thank you so much to the Hobby Hangout for your ongoing love and support. This has been the fastest selling event yet. The fastest selling event yet. We can't go past this. Hobby Hangout, they're just going from strength to strength here. Go onto OzTix to get your tickets. Hobby Hangout XL in Melbourne, Royal Exhibition Building in Carlton, Sunday, the 26th of April at 10:30 a.m. Pre-release tickets completely exhausted. They were $20. Now the first release general admission $29.90. 400 plus tables, sports cards, NBA, NFL, MLB, AFL, NRL, soccer, and more, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, MTG, entertainment, live breaks, trading zones. Guys, bring your trading cards to trade with like-minded collectors. You will not regret it. Free play areas. Now, again, last year, these were really, really well received, and they did extremely well. Expert panel, speakers, and international guests. Thank you so much to the Hobby Hangout for your ongoing love and support. Alrighty, guys, we are back and we're going to continue on here and we're going to touch on the blind unboxing post, which was posted onto Instagram just this week. So, guys, get onto Instagram and follow Josh Luber. He's written a new white paper, 140 pages. It's going to take me a while to get through this, guys, and I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you I've read it all because I absolutely haven't. I would say, though, that Luber understands the hobby from a range of different perspectives, and I think it's good to get people's perspectives on different levels. I think it's good to get hobbyist perspectives. I think it's fantastic to get high end, and then it's good to get little guys like me, my 2 cents on the hobby too, because I think you get a more well-rounded thing. It's also good because I think in the last white paper, he was very honest and very transparent about how he viewed things and how things were gonna be moving into the future, and he touched on things about distribution. And now that we look back on it too, he really touched on things like how the negotiations were gonna go, so it really gave you a good insight of how everything played out. We are absolutely in a point in time in the hobby where people do love a random. Like, it's literally as simple as that, and so if we're gonna be blind boxing into the future, is this the future of the hobby? Is this the hobby? Is the hobby a giant blind box? I personally don't think every person in the hobby is into blind boxes or repacks. You know, some people just wanna watch breaks. Some people wanna buy singles. Some people just wanna buy low end. Some people only wanna touch high end. So, do I think this is for everyone? No, I don't. But at the same time, you cannot ignore what is going on out there. And we're seeing platforms now that are doing the digital repacks. And if you're asking me what is the future on repacks, like, that's the future. There's no way around it. At the moment, from what I can see, there's only really 1 or 2 platforms that are doing it in a large scale, meaningful way. Do I think that's gonna be the only thing that's gonna be happening, you know, moving to the future? Absolutely not. I mean, come on, guys. Like, this is yeah, this is the future. So, guys, absolutely check this out, read this. We're gonna be breaking it down. I'm not too sure how I'm gonna be doing it, 140 pages. I might just pick out 1 page at a time and maybe do every 10th page or just do some interesting stuff, but absolutely, I'll be doing that over a period of weeks, and we will get into that. Now, Cooper Flagg sale. This one was an absolute monster here. This is from the Market Movers app. I'm actually gonna thread in a couple of stories into this one here. 2025 Cooper Flagg, first card, 1 of 1, PSA 8. Who cares? It's a 1 of 1. It sold for $108,000. It was sold on Fanatics Collect. The story goes to this is that the person who owned this card somehow didn't realize the value of it, took it to a vendor who was told he wanted $10,000 from it. The vendor was very, very honest in this space and then went on to say, "We can get you a lot more money for that," and helped him consign it with Fanatics. I I'm not too sure how much I believe in these type of stories. I think sometimes this stuff is just almost told to create hype in the hobby and create some type of good narrative story. How can you be a collector, have the biggest prospect that's currently in the NBA, have the 1 of 1, and then not know what the value of the card is? Like, that to me is just insane. And also have sent it off to PSA and got it back. Like, you know, your upcharge on this, I'm gonna guess the upcharge even on a PSA 8 would have been, like, at least $1,000, right? Like, and then to sell it for 10, I'm not too sure about that. Anyway, I think the most important thing to talk about here is the Cooper Flag market. We are seeing some absolutely insane sales on this guy, and it's getting to the point now where, is this guy a good or a bad purchase? I'm gonna start leaning into the fact that this is moving into crazy territory because we've seen multiple prospects over the last few years have cards sell for more than six figures, and they have gone back to absolute dust now. So the obvious and the easy ones are Ja Morant and Zion. I think that's the easy ones. We've also seen some Anthony Davis sales on his, was a National Treasures RPA card, and that sold for more than six figures, and now that's worth, like 20 grand, something in that figure there. And so obviously the people who are dealing in these type of cards, they've got the money to spend, so maybe this is not so much of a big deal for them. They view it as a good long-term risk. But I also think there's a trickle down here because, and you can see this here, the trickle down here is real. There's other cards here. This one here selling for $97,000, Bowman Chrome University. That's an absolute joke. That is going to end terribly. If that's worth 10,000 in a few years, I would be absolutely shocked. The trickle down effect is here. Here we go. $120,000 for a number to 3 out of 5. And that's raw. And that's raw. So if you send that off to PSA and that comes out a 5, a 6, a 7, or 8, I mean, you could very, in a real way, lose money almost straight away. Yeah. At this point in time, for me, the Cooper Flag market is just absolutely cooked. And frankly, I'm gonna try and stay away from it as much as I can. Frankly, as much as I can. It's just too much for me. I really struggle when I see these type of numbers. G'day, Joe Dennison, just replying to your comment here. Yeah, die cut jerseys and threads. Yeah, it just took me a while to piece that one together, but absolutely. All right, guys, moving on here. We have got a Dwyane Wade sale. Now, this one here, I love this. I personally think this is undervalued, and whoever picked this up, it's an absolute gem. Dwyane Wade, 2003 Exquisite Collection, numbered to 99. This sold for $43,000, 200 bucks with the change there. Population on this is 6, PSA 9. Right. Okay. Why do I think this is undervalued? I think someone like Dwyane Wade, where he's had an absolutely insane NBA career. I also think too there's the pop culture element. Like, why isn't his card selling for more? Like, we just saw an absolutely terrible Cooper Flag sale for $100,000 on a essentially a Donruss base card at PSA 8. Then you can walk into Dwyane Wade, who's had multiple championships. All right, let's do this. Let's use AI. 16 NBA seasons, NBA championships in 2006, 2012, and 2013. Finals MVP in 2006. All-Star selections 13 times, All-NBA 8 times, 2-time first team, 3-time team, 3 times third team. Scoring title in 2009, all-defensive team 3 times, Olympic gold medalist, right? That's his career. That is an amazing career, and how many people can you even argue that have got a career that good? And you can pick up his exquisite rookie patch autograph for $43,000. Now, if we trend back even just 12 or 18 months, you could pick this up for about 25,000. My argument around this actually is that should we be buying up more people, all right? More people like Dwyane Wade. We've spoke about Steph Curry being undervalued. Frankly, I think LeBron James is a little bit undervalued into this space too. Should we be buying up more LeBron at the moment? Let's have a look at Dwyane Wade on card ladder. The market for Wade is not fantastic. All right, 2003, 2004 Chrome Refractor from his rookie year, BGS Pristine 10. This is from 2021. Last sold for $13,700. All right, 2003 Topps Chrome Dwyane Wade Refractor, PSA 10. Population on this is 171. That last sold for 1,350. Let's look at the total population report on this because some of these older cards, PSA is almost irrelevant just for the fact of how many BGS. Okay, so BGS, there's one Black Label 10, there's 27 10 pristines, and in total, there's 1,300 in the population on this across all the different grading companies. Obviously, there's going to be some recracks here. There's some in SGC, there's some in CGC. Population total growth. Look, in today's comparisons, like that's absolutely nothing. All right. So let's comp this guy to Wemby because I actually think Wemby is pretty close to him at the moment. So at the moment, Wade is at 1,300. Wemby at the moment is trading for 1,562. I think this is the perfect example of hype versus substance. And and look at the population on this. The Wemby population is nearly 5,000 alone at PSA. 8,514 is the total population on this Wemby card. All right. Every single day of the week, I'm taking that Dwyane Wade. In fact, I'm going to give this an A plus plus purchase on his rookie refractor card. I'm going to go for a B plus on that just because I just don't know how long it's going to take you to get your money back, but how much for it to go up too much more. All right, let's finish off today's show with some listener questions. And I'm really sorry, guys, I didn't get around to these sooner. Plappy's PC, just seen the new unlicensed downtowns. Interesting discussion. Yeah, look, we actually covered in that today's show. I probably should have threaded that in a little bit earlier. For me, it's a stay away. The one I really want to look at though is the Kabooms. That's the one where I think it's going to be really interesting. The black one of one, that to me is juicy, and we need to check that out. Clearview cards, Wemby saved the All-Star game. Wemby is an absolute legend. I'm so thankful we have Wemby in our lives. It's as simple as that. I think he's going to change the NBA in a very positive way. Clearview cards, mangas are forgettable. Prism Black has no brand recognition. I think it'll keep going down. Yeah, so this was a follow-up from the last live stream that we did, and I was talking about the mangas and how there's been a really big shift downwards in the Steph Curry. Look, I disagree with you, to be honest. I think the mangas are going to be collectible long term. I think the question is what is the correct price? Are we seeing a price correction at the moment? Or was that just a one-off sale that was, really down? Now that I've looked back through the sales data, what I actually think is it was just a one bad sale, and frankly, I think it's been removed from the index. Prism Black, I think, was really, really well received, and I think it's going to hold sealed well for a very long time. Yuchi Boy, what is my favorite product to break? All right, I like to see people get value back. I don't like to see people get reamed too badly. So, for example, I hate 1 and 1 for that exact reason. There's only two cards in the box. If you get one bad card or two bad cards in it, it just really can stink up hardcore. My actually favorite product to break has always been Select. You got three hits in it. You got base cards. You got the case hits. And the other one that's really warmed up me a lot the last few years is Impeccable because the price on that was much lower compared to other. I'm using air quotes here, high end, but you got like 6 or 7 autographs per box. Most of them were on card autographs. It was very little redemptions in it. It was just like a nice, thoughtful product that really got overlooked by collectors and also on the resale market. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in today, listening on the podcast platforms. Again, please, can you go to Facebook, / you can't comp this and give us a follow. It would mean the world for us to get that up and moving along a little bit. Take care of yourselves, guys, and we will catch you all next week. Goodbye for now.